Okay, you guys, so I have another video coming out for you guys today. So of course, this will be kind of debunking some of the things that's going on. So with that being said, keep in mind, spoiler warnings for people who have not caught up with the manga yet. So, I know I said I was going to have a hypothetical potential how powerful Arthur would be, but before, this is going to be a kind of two-part video because I kind of noticed that a lot of people have this ridiculous downplay of the seven deadly sins, and it does kind of come from this video that I watched. And I'm not going to put no names out there, but he did a terrible job trying to scale the sins. So I'm going to kind of go over that and explain exactly how powerful the sins are while debunking a lot of the claims that they are before we get into it. So this will be basically part one of the two-part series of really explaining just how powerful Arthur could possibly be. So I'm going to go over this first. Like I said, I'm going to go over some of the misconceptions, rather, that the Seven Deadly Sins has. Instead of kind of before I go over how powerful Arthur could possibly be in the future. Okay, you guys. So to start off with this, like I said, I have to debunk a lot of this stuff because I've seen way too much downplay. I've seen people say that the sins are only country level, and that's with them working as a team. And I've seen people say that they're only hypersonic and stuff like that, and it is just absolutely mind blowing just how ridiculous the downplay for the sins are. Like, oh my god, like I honestly haven't seen this much downplay really since like the very beginning of like Black Clover and stuff like that. Like the downplay just absolutely retarded. Like I just can't really explain. So we're just gonna go over. I'm just gonna kind of show everyone that they're wrong. So we're gonna talk about just how fast the sins could be, or that they are, sorry, and how strong the sins are. So we're gonna start off with speed, and to talk about speed, the very basic point that we're gonna discuss, we're gonna be talking about the Goddess Clan. Now I'm pretty sure you're all probably sitting there, wait, the Goddess Clan? You know what I'm saying? Why would we talk about the Goddess Clan? And that is because there's a misconception with the Goddess Clan, and that is the Goddess Clan being the most powerfulest race out there. Though their top tiers are basically more or less like the strongest out there, or high tiers amongst the World of Seven Sins, the Goddess Clan overall as a whole is not the strongest clan out there. And on top of which, uh, there also has such a hacks-based magic. Well, not really hacks-based, but the point I'm trying to get across is it's because of this reason why I have to explain that the speed of them, because the Goddess Clan use an ability known as Arc, or rather, really not even Arc, is really basically that they use light magic given to them by the Supreme Deity. A lot of people say, you know what I'm saying, that sins haven't reached light speed, but this kind of proves it by the simple fact that even the baseline Goddess Clan, this isn't even an Archangel, and they're also in the weaker form because they're not even in the original body, is able to use the Arc, which is stated to be the light of God. You know what I'm saying? So it is a light-based attack. Even Monspeed himself, he explains like, oh, so yeah, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? The Arc technique basically uses light particles to disintegrate their opponents. But like I said, that's what they use. They harness light particles. And the Arc is just when they simply encase people in a cage of light. But multiple versions of the Arc of the Goddess Clan, they don't have to just use Arc. They can also shoot these light-based projectiles at their enemies as well. And the reason, you know what I'm saying, why this is important, because you're talking about, this is just was Narabasta in using Lord Denzel's body. And even then, you know what I'm saying, it has light speed potential. You know what I'm saying? It is blatantly stated to be light speed, even though it's actually faster, because literally this is a technique, as Monspeed said himself, it is a technique that the Goddess Clan uses specifically. It is their power. They use the light of the Supreme Deity. So it is, in fact, light, and it is ability that even the fodder tier of the Goddess Clan will be able to use. So which means the fodder tier characters that we don't like, the no names, those faceless drones amongst them are can use light speed attacks, and they are far superior, or sorry, far inferior to the 10 Commandments, who are basically every time the Ten Commandments take place on the battlefield, literally it is up to the archangels to actually deal with them. Even Narabasta, who would basically be a rank or two underneath the archangels, is absolutely terrified when she sees Derriere, and she just tries to actually run away because she is that terrified. But even then, that would mean that the Ten Commandments who would already be, saying hundreds of times to 1,000 times already stronger and faster than faceless soldiers would be 1,000 times faster than light. And then you're talking about even the Ten Commandments pale in comparison to the archangels. Literally, it is stated at the beginning that it takes basically 2 commandments to fight a archangel, even though Saramel completely bodied both Body and Derriere, Monspeed, Galan, all of them, Fraudulent, every single one of them were getting completely bodied by them, and that was them while they were just basically just taunting and holding back. And even they are basically fodder compared to some of the higher tiers like Mael, who was stated to be the strongest of them, meaning he would be basically thousands, we're talking hundreds of thousands of times stronger than just a baseline goddess, and he would be a goddess himself. And he had to get switched out with some of the characters like Melly. He had to get switched out with Meliodas, sorry, just so they could even play field because of how powerful they are. And as you know, in the Seven Deadly Sins world, the more power you have, the way your power works, like I said, it equates to your durability, attack potency, and speed. And on top of which, Ludishel actually could be arguably faster just because he possesses the grace known as Flash, which is a grace that literally amplifies specifically someone's speed. So Mael may be more powerful, but Ludishel would definitely be, not definitely, but he would possibly be even faster than Mael. And these are the 2 high tiers amongst the archangels, putting them at a level that basically will put them massively faster than light, very casually. And that's them, because they would be massively stronger than anything amongst the faceless goddess clans who would also be able to use light-based projectiles. So so basically just a fodder goddess could be light speed, and then you're talking about people that are in the high tiers being thousands of times stronger than them being in the light speed. And even then they still pale in comparison to the 7 Deadly Sins by the time the end of the series goes. Once they get to the fighting with the Demon King, even Ludishel, Mael, Saruman, who couldn't even really even stand up to a kind of enraged Mael, who didn't even have his grace, all kind of fell down and were pretty much bodied. So, but you're talking about they easily pale in comparison. You know what I'm saying? It's just not even up for debate. And you're talking about, like I said, not even speaking of Meliodas himself, but you know what I'm saying? You're talking about characters like Purgatory Bond being much stronger. King, even when King, before he got his full-grown wings, was at 10 Commandment level. And then you're talking about full-grown King, which far exceeds anything amongst the 10 Commandments. And especially even the one Mo Escanor, who body was essentially the strongest commandment of them all. You also have Merlin, who, like I said, isn't, necessarily, or she is at that level, but she's more lines of using her hack space and stuff and teleportation to be able to move at those speeds quite casually. And like I said, she has enough power to even stand up and go against both Cusack and Chandler. So even Cusack and Chandler, who Cusack, by the way, actually shown that he was actually even faster than Ludishel in Margaret's body anyway. He was actually shown to be faster than even him. So he would be even faster than a already massively faster than light character who was 1,000 times faster. So even and still they could not react to anything of Merlin's attacks, which she set him in a trap mode. And even Gother, who uses his invasion ability, who later grew even stronger, was definitely in those low tier 10 Commandment levels in terms of like his strength and power, but he was still nonetheless at that level. And even Deanne, who was basically going through when her and King went through their training arc, they were also more or less rivals, or at least Deanne was. King eventually surpassed Gloxina, but Deanne was definitely seen as a kind of rival, or at least at the very least, bare minimum, relative to Droll, who, like I said, Droll also in that same flashback was going toe to toe with one of the Ten Commandments and was actually seen to be stronger, who, like I said, would be at the very least able to contend with the Archangels and would definitely be massively faster than fodder tier nameless goddess clans, members that we don't even get to see. So just keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about all these characters that would still be massively faster than light. And like I said, that is just, you know what I'm saying, 7 deadly sins. Like, so that kind of showed you just how well the 7 deadly sins are. And I didn't really go over Meliodas, and that's just because, I mean, he's the captain. He's already seen to be stronger. Even in the flashback, Meliodas was shown that he was, that even Ludoshel was absolutely kind of terrified of Meliodas, to the point that he thought that he needed Sarmel and Tarmel to gang up on Meliodas to stop him from interfering. So just keep, so yet again, all of them massively fast and light quite easily, not even up for debate. Okay, got that out of the way. All right, good, because now we're gonna move on to power. Oh my goodness. Okay, so oh my goodness, people love to say that the 7 deadly sins are nothing but country level only after getting their limit broken and Meliodas using a full counter on their combo move multiple times, and that's the only way to do it. And they did it off of this bullshit ass statement. Okay, I'm sorry because I try not to, but I knew when I read this chapter and I saw that it said Zeldris said, oh, that had enough power to destroy Britannia. I immediately, my first thought was, okay, great. Now that Nakaba didn't use this, it's going to show. Everyone's going to say, oh my god, the sins are just now hit country level. I knew that crap was going to happen, even though that is blatantly wrong. Meliodas, after awakening his power, was already blatantly stated that he was destroying all of Britannia just by existing. Okay, the world was trying to reject him, and because it couldn't reject him unless Meliodas went willingly, of course, it was literally destroying itself. Now, I'm not going to say Meliodas is a planet bust, so I'm not going to go that far, but he's definitely already in large country level. And that is just a casual Meliodas. You're not even talking about a Meliodas at its full power that had enough power that even stated by Zeldris to surpass even the Demon Kings himself. And that same Demon King, by the way, who when he took over Zeldris' body, was slightly weaker than the beginning Demon King Meliodas that we noticed. And Meliodas in his base form was still bodying him, and they were also, both of them combined, were still destroying the world just by existing in base form. So in other words, you're talking about a country the size of Britannia. You know what I'm saying? Britannia being a mid to large country level, like the lowest. Even if I'm trying to lowball it, it has to be at least a mid-sized country. It would literally take over a portion of the United States. So it would at very least be a mid level. And you're talking about a Meliodas who bodied him without even using demon marking, or his assault mode was able to body him, and we're not even mentioning the fact that Meliodas didn't even use his full power throughout the entire fight until the very last minute. And the same Demon King went on to grow multiple times stronger because a baseline Demon King had enough power just by sitting there sipping his beer, was strong enough to destroy a large country level area just by existing. And then he gets even stronger by standing on the lake and refilling his magic power, going through multiple transformations, going from armored one to what everyone likes to laugh at and kind of call like a JoJo's, right? Which is really funny. But then going to this really darkened, kind of real humongous with the sick looking katana sitting form, which was as stated by Meliodas to be even stronger than he was before. Which is definitely up for debate on which form he's talking about, to even going even stronger above that, using Britannia itself as a vessel. So just keep that in mind. So when you try and sit there and say that, oh my goodness, the 7 deadly sins just not did, no. They all are comparable to the Demon King because all of them were able to do damage to him. And I'm going to kind of go over that right now. Like I said, each of the 7 deadly sins, remember, with the exception of really, I would say like Deanne, was all able to damage the Demon King some way. So we're going to start off with Purgatory Bond, okay? So Purgatory Bond, when Meliodas had actually come and taken over, or got taken over by the Demon King, Bond was the only one able to go toe-to-toe with Demon King Meliodas. Okay, and this same Demon King Meliodas was stronger than the baseline Demon King Zeldris, who stated, yeah, I thought it was going to be far superior, but it's not bad. So he said that, yeah, it's not bad, but it's clearly not the true vessel that would have gave him the most out of it. So it is definitely, at the very least, slightly stronger than that. And like I said, that was definitely put Bond also at the very least in mid to large country levels of force, because like I said, just by existing, the Demon King was destroying. That's not even counting his combat power, which would rise up steadily just like with anything else. So Bond would easily be in that mid to large country level of force, really large country levels of attack potency. And then you even have characters that are rivaling that as well, like I said, such as Escanor in the one mode. So Escanor in one mode has basically more or less kind of not really lost a fight throughout the entire series, which is absolutely ridiculous. But this same Escanor in the one mode went toe to toe with an even stronger, the second strongest form of the Demon King that we've seen at this point, and was stated to be an even match. They were literally going toe to toe. Even the Demon King himself said, "Wow, it is amazing that you can stand up to me, but your time limit is up." And Escanor went even beyond that. Not only increased the limit of the one mode, but actually gave upon it by giving up his life force and gaining even more strength than is already more on the lines of continental level Demon King. Okay, so and then you, oh my god, it's just kind of ridiculous. And then you also have King, who King might be weaker than the one Escanor and even Bond. He definitely might. He was still more or less a part of that group when he was doing the damage to the Demon King and actually standing up to him just like the rest of them were. So even King at bare minimum would have to be in that mid, really large country level, because he was fighting with Bond and Escanor against the Demon King in that stronger ranking form. So, and still able to do damage to him and still go toe to toe, keep up with him in combat. And these characters, like I said, are just leagues above what anything we've seen in the series before. And even then, King was still also a part of the three, able to take damage from the Demon King. Now, yet again, I'm going to point this out that no, they were not on the same level as Demon King. The Demon King is more in that continental to really multi-continental levels of power. If you scale him, just because he was already able to obliterate a large country just by existing, and then he gets multiple times stronger above that. So he'd be in multi-continental levels of force. And all of them were still able to stand up and even take attacks from him, even though they weren't as strong as him, putting them at least large country to continental levels of force, or rather in attack potency and durability. And that's not even counting characters like Gother, who can use mind hacks, own characters at that level, and even Merlin, who has her magical hacks thanks to her time spent in Belial, and of course the granting the immunity from curses and knowledge from the demon world from the Demon King. Granted her the ability to have basically almost limitless knowledge on magic, like basically, and able to counteract the Demon King's magic. And even Deanne definitely is lacks in attack potency. Deanne is really more like large island to like small country, because she is far beneath every single member of the Sin. And especially since she is a battle-oriented person, so she definitely lacks, but she was still a part of the fight, still able to do damage to the Demon King. So, in conclusion, everyone that has had some downplay saying the Sins are only hypersonic, or that they're only a country level if they attack in this way, is blatantly wrong. Just long before then, you have characters like the Demon King and stuff that are strong enough to, just by existing, destroy the entire country of Britannia, which would be a large country in terms of size. And that's just by existing. He then, of course, gains even more power through all of his multiple transformations, gaining them to be even stronger. And the Sins were still able to damage him and keep up with him in combat, putting them all at that massively faster than light speed, and on top of which have more in the lines of large country to continental levels of force. Meliodas being greater than that would definitely be in the multi-continental levels of force. With the Sins, of course, trickling down to, Bond, King, and Escanor being more like the large country to continental, and the weaker versions being more like Haxi-based, like Gother and Merlin, who wouldn't have that type of attack potency, but could definitely have hacks enough to actually stand up to him. And of course, someone like Deanne, who, like I said, she lacks in the feats, But she was still able to at least throw him off the lake, putting Deanna, like I said, really more on the lines of small country. Like, not, sorry, more like large island to small country would really be her overall overarching limits, basically. So I'm going to end the video off that. So if you guys really enjoyed that and you just want to really debate me in the comments saying that the 7 deadly sins are weaker or actually stronger than anything, just let me know in the comment. I'll be happy to argue with you. I figured when I was going over and trying to make the video for Arthur, which I will have coming out possibly either right after this or the day after, you know what I'm saying, or Saturday or Sunday, since I'm finally off work, thank goodness. But like I said, I just felt like this needed to be done before I actually make that video, because I'm so tired of I didn't want to make these claims and stuff like in a video telling people how powerful Arthur could be, and then people like, wait, why do you think he's in that continental level? For why is he country? Like, why is he there? And people not really understanding. So I felt like I had to come back and debunk all of the misconceptions about the 7 deadly sins first, and then, you know, kind of go into it with the second part, showing people like, yeah, so Arthur is not to be trifled with. This is the power that Arthur could possibly have. So be on the lookout for that. It will be coming out very soon. Like, comment, subscribe if you guys really enjoyed. And until next time, you guys, I'll see you in part 2. Peace.